Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited to talk to you guys about goals, and in the sense of I want to talk about how important they are to getting anything done, but also I want to break down what my goals are for 2021 and just tell you guys so that you can see how it is that I make my years productive and know what it is I want to accomplish each year and use that as a roadmap to getting it done. There is this quote, and honestly, I've seen it so many times in so many different places, I couldn't possibly tell you where it's from, but it's something along the lines of a dream written down with a date becomes a goal, and a goal broken down into steps that you can do becomes a plan. And as long as you do each of those steps, that plan becomes reality. So the first thing is just to have a dream of something that you want to accomplish in the year, right? So I know, like, New Year's resolutions, it's March, it's probably a little bit late for those, but I do them every year. Not in the sense of I want to lose 10 pounds this year necessarily, but these are the projects that I want to accomplish this year. So I came into 2021 with 5 big goals that I really wanted to do. And I am currently coming to terms with the fact I don't actually think I can do all 5. I sat down and broke down what each of the steps would have to be for each of these 5 things to get done, and like when all of the due dates would be. The first draft of this would have to be done during this month, and this proof copy would have to be arriving this month in order to be in printing and have these out by Christmas. And so there were so many deadlines between these 5 projects that I could not do all 5 of them. So I'll tell you what they were. So the first one actually is almost over. I've actually almost completely finished the first one, which was to release the Prince Avalask prequel. So we ran the Kickstarter for that. It went amazingly well. It was so exciting. And we made over $15,000 on the Kickstarter, which was beyond what I expected. I'm currently in the process of shipping those all out, so that goal is actually almost already accomplished. The other 4, so the one that I don't think I'm gonna get to, it's something I really want to do, but when I laid these all out, I just couldn't do all of them. And I think the one that is gonna have to get put on the back burner until 2022 is the sequel to Macho. Macho and the Great Dragon Escape is my kid's book, which is back here, and it was such a hit. Everybody loved this puppy and his adventures with the baby dragons as they escape from the hatchery. It went super well. I definitely have ideas for a sequel. It's just, for a lot of reasons, I don't know that this is the year for it. A is that there's so many other things I want to do, but B is that financially, I still have all of this inventory of Macho, which I can't be out selling in person. So I've got to go out and do a couple of shows and do a couple of events before I can fund the next round of Macho, because, a lot of that money comes out of my pocket before we ever get to Kickstarter. So there's really a couple different reasons that Macho is gonna have to wait till 2022, but just so you guys know, that is a goal of mine, is to complete. I would love to have a trilogy of the Macho books, to have 3 of them, so when we're going around to elementary schools, kids could either get 1 book or 2 book or 3 books, and they've got a whole adventure to follow with that puppy and that baby dragon. So it's still gonna happen. Realistically, it's not gonna be this year though. The 3 things that are gonna happen this year is I have it on my plate. I am gonna finish book 5 this year, which I'm just gonna tell you guys, oh my gosh, this is turning out to be so much harder than any book I've ever written. Well, maybe not book 1. Book 1 took a really long time. But book 5 is just something I have never had to do before, which is that I have like 40 unique characters in the Secrets of the Tally series, and I have to wrap up every one of their storylines. And there's still a couple of loose ends that have been left over all the way from book 1 of, I've always known what I wanted to do with them, but now it's time to actually do it. There is no more time to put it off. Like, I have to tie up some of the mysteries that were left over from the very beginning of the series. There is just so much to do in book 5, and it's gonna be huge. This book is gonna be so much bigger than any of the others, just because there is so much happening. And between these 40 unique characters, you guys, there is just so much diabolical scheming going on. There is so much happening. And it's a lot to try to tie it all together. This is like the biggest novel project I have ever tackled, and it has been really exciting for for that reason, but also just it's taking a while. So I absolutely want to have that done by the end of the year. So I have that broken down into, I need to have my first draft done by this month and then second draft by this month. I usually go through about 6 revisions. So I have to have it done early in this year to have it like finished by the end of this year, or to have the manuscript finished, and then that would mean a Kickstarter in early 2022. So you will not see book 5 this year. That's why you got Prince Avalask. That was to hold you over until next year. But I do absolutely want to have it finished as of this year so that it's like ready to go by early next year. So book 5 is one of the big ones. Another one that actually not many people know this yet is I really am excited to get started on the audiobooks. So I have been getting requests for these a lot. And I mean, like, to the point where I'm literally going to dedicate, I don't even know how many hours it's going to take to do these. But I've been getting so many requests that I actually really think it's going to be worth it to just sit down and record them all. I am going to do the voices myself, record the whole audiobook, which is, to be honest, a little bit daunting. This is something I've really, okay, everybody hates their own voice recorded, right? I promise you I'm not an exception to that. The first time I ever did a podcast, I was just like, I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that. I just couldn't wrap my brain around the way that I sounded. You always, and everybody's like this, when you hear yourself recorded, you go, that is not at all how I sound. Now that I've been doing YouTube videos for quite a while, I'm much more used to hearing my voice recorded. I'm not so afraid of it anymore. And also one of I guess the scariest factors of it was just that I feel like I have, a fairly feminine voice. And in Secrets of the Tally, there's a lot of male characters. I have to read for the Jari, for these big, scary, broody men. And I don't really have the voice for that, is what, I was telling myself before. But I've kind of come to the realization that it doesn't matter who you are. There is always going to be like an opposite gender that you're going to have to read for that is not as comfortable for you. So males who have to read for female voices are going to run into the same issue of, well, it doesn't quite sound exactly right. And all female voiceover artists are going to run into that same situation of when you're reading for male characters. There's an art form to it, so I've been putting in a lot of time into like researching how to do that. The one thing I'm probably not going to attempt is accents. I think that I have a pretty good reading voice. I don't know if it's good enough to pull off like a foreign accent from a world that doesn't exist, like to make one up. So I might just skip that part. But I'm doing a lot of looking into like turning an entire closet in the house into a recording studio, which that one of, if you guys have been watching these videos for very long, that one of my biggest problems is that I am next to a very busy street. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to combat that in like picking a closet at the back of the house. I'm going to put up foam on all the walls, and just really try to do everything that I can to soundproof that to the max. And then if there's just a big noisy semi, I'll just, re-record that take at another time. So audiobooks are something that I'm really looking forward to, especially because I'm going to kind of work them into my schedule for making book 5. So I want to get the first draft of book 5 done and then go record all of my audiobooks, because it makes sense to me. Then I'll have to read all the other books in the series, which is gonna remind me of some things. You always want to do that, by the way. Like if you are writing in a series, when you write the next book, you always want to go back and read all the last books, because there's gonna be things that you forget, little details, things that you don't want to cause a conflict just because you forgot that you'd written them all the way back in book 1. So I'm thinking if I have to go read all of those audiobooks, that's gonna be like an awesome refresher for me on how exactly, just on getting all of the right details into book 5. So what I've learned from doing a lot of research into what it takes to make an audiobook is that it's roughly it takes 3 hours of recording and editing and getting everything together to produce 1 finished hour of audio. And something like Secrets of the Tally, my guess, is going to be about 10 hours long. And then, each book gets a little bit longer. So probably 10 for Tally, 12 for Epics, 12 for Deal for 3, 14 for book 4, book 5, 25 hours. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that much longer. But it's gonna be a huge project. And so I'm excited. It's something really totally new and different. And then I'm thinking we'll run a Kickstarter for it kind of close to the end of the year. So my last project is, so we got book 5, Prince Avalasqu's already happened, the audiobooks, Macho is going to be next year, and then the 5th goal for my 2021 is relaunching the 60-day novel writing challenge. So gosh, this is actually going to be a really big one. So I'm going to use all of the same videos that I recorded the first time we did the challenge, because, the very first time I ran it, it was just kind of like this big trial run just to see if I could force myself to record a video for 60 straight days and lay out the steps for how to write a novel in 60 days. And it actually went really, really well. So everybody who took the challenge and went all the way to the end had an awesome time and had just rave reviews about it, came back and was like, oh my gosh, this is the reason I finished my book, or it's the reason I even started my book. And so I know that it can do really, really well if we relaunch it with a bunch of added features and make it a paid course. So I'll kind of tell you guys some of the things that I am going to be adding into the 60-day novel writing challenge for this coming year. And it's the biggest thing is just me researching how to advertise it. Like, I want to bring in lots of people outside of my circle who are I want writers everywhere to be able to come and take the 60-day novel writing challenge and finish their books, So I'm going to make it something that everybody can afford. I want to give everybody like the best chance possible. So I've been brainstorming what we could do, and I'm actually in the process right now of printing workbooks to go with it. So I'm going to show you guys, I designed the cover for these. So you're going to need to use your imagination a little bit on this. I'll put it on the side over here. Everything that's in dark orange is going to be shiny copper foil. So remember, foiling is like the shiny letters that go on your books and on anything. So it's going to be like a copper foil, which is really super awesome. And then actually, let me show you. Oh goodness, I wasn't planning to do this. I would have unburied it from everything. My inspiration is my planners every year. I love, 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 love my planners. And so I love this like wire binding that's on each and every one of them. And so I have found a way that we're going to do like with copper wire. We're going to have copper wire binding that looks like this, and like a shiny front, which of course you can see, that's what I love so much about my planner, is that it's shiny. But it's going to say the 60-day novel writing challenge, and it is 130 pages of worksheets of everything that we covered during the challenge, like character worksheets, world building worksheets, fights and battles worksheets, like everything that we went through. There is going to be a worksheet about it. Well, most of it. There's not like worksheets about commas and stuff, because there is a day about commas and there's no worksheet for that. But everything in the beginning, when it's like coming up with the ideas, there's worksheets for that. And then there's sheets for, sorry, kittens are playing with stuff here. And then there's sheets for like writing down the ideas. So like the big thing behind the first 15 days of the challenge is that you're coming up with 10 ideas per day. So that at the end of 15 days, you have 150 ideas for what is going to go into your book. And then we start organizing them, and we go each day by day how to work on organizing it this day. So there's like pages for writing down each of your 10 ideas each day, and there's pages for helping to organize everything. And then there's pages once we start writing the book that help you keep track of your word count and like give you, like, you can write down your time intervals. So once we start working on writing sprints, you can write down, okay, from 8:30 to 9, I'm gonna write 500 words, and then you hold yourself to it because you wrote it down in your challenge workbook. So they are gonna be super cool, super high quality. I'm gonna give people the option to either print them at home so they don't have to pay for shipping, or they get it for free. Like with the challenge, they would just have to pay for shipping on it. What else am I thinking? Oh, one of the biggest things that holds people back from getting their books done right is the motivation factor. They have the story in their heads. They just don't ever sit down to write it. They give themselves excuses of, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or whatever it is, or oh, I'm busy. But once people sit down and take the challenge, those excuses are gone. You have to do the homework every day or you will fall behind. You will not make it up later, you don't want to fall behind. So one of the really cool things for the 60-day challenge that I came up with is I'm going to do these winner's pins. So it's going to be an enamel pin with the 60-day challenge logo, and it's gonna say winner at the bottom. It's gonna be like really high quality and really nice, and you are only gonna get it if you finish on time. So that's gonna help with that motivation factor, right? Is once we get these winners pins made, you're gonna want to win the winners pin, right? So you're not gonna slack. At least that's my hope. It's gonna be one more incentive to not slack off. Also, you know, there's the community that's gonna be behind you. And then one of the really cool upgrades that I'm coming up with, or in the works with right now, I guess, is I am working with, and I won't announce who it is yet, but I'm working with somebody who is a life coach and an accountability coach. So we'll have like the basic 60-day novel writing challenge, but you can actually upgrade to like a higher package, which is going to be like called, I think I'm gonna call it professional premium is what I'm thinking. And then that's gonna be the one where you can get professional advice from me. So I'll be looking over things like the blurb, maybe the first page, the synopsis, and giving you professional feedback on the writing itself. But you're also going to have a professional accountability coach checking in with you on a weekly basis to see how it's going and see how they can help you and get you on the right track and with the right mindset to finish your book in the 60 days. So we'll have the base pack for, you know, whatever amount, and then the upgrade pack of professional premium where you get both of those things. You get the accountability coach and you're gonna get my professional review of the writing itself. So that's something I'm working on. The other, I think, big thing that'll be different from the first time we ran the challenge is that I'm going to be setting up a campaign that emails you everything you need every day. So every single day you just have to wake up, open up your email, and you're gonna have the videos emailed to you and the homework is emailed to you. So it's all right there. It's super easy. You watch the video, which you guys already know is like 5 to 10 minutes long, super easy. So you just watch the video, you do the homework, it's emailed to you every day. Like it truly could not be any easier. So in the process of setting up all of that, which is why I'm not going to be done until this summer. There's just so much to do. But I am really, really excited about it. I know it's going to turn out well. I've got to wait for these workbooks to be printed. I'm waiting on a proof copy right now to make sure they look as fabulous as I'm dreaming, which I already know they're going to, but you know, we got to see it first. So workbooks, emails, there's so many upgrades, the professional premium upgrade. There's so much I'm working on for that 60-day challenge. So that's gonna be ready in the summer. In the meantime, I'm also planning to work on the audiobooks, which, you know, is, I wanna say is, I don't even know how many hours of time that is gonna be to work on those, plus a giant learning curve, plus I have to build my studio for it. And then, gosh, what was my other thing? Oh, the 5th tally book. There's a lot of work to put in on that. So hopefully you guys are seeing why it is that I've come to the conclusion I'm gonna have to push Macho back until next year, which makes me sad because I was really hoping I could have them out by Christmas of this year, but it's just not in the cards for 2021. Next year, we will look at having a big Kickstarter campaign for book 5, which is actually the end of the Secrets of the Tally series, which is crazy, but then, you know, we'll have a little extra Macho book coming out after that. So there will always be more to look forward to. Yeah, that is all of my goals broken down for 2021. So I hope that that's helpful to you guys, just in the fact that you can see how my process works. At the beginning of every year, I lay out everything that I want to do and I set those deadlines. So if you guys have those dreams, you need to do the same thing. You need to set an end date of when you're going to have it done and then break out the steps along the way for how you are going to get to that goal by that end date. And that is one of the things, you know, I'm always talking about this, but when the 60-day novel writing challenge comes out, it's like the perfect tool for that. If writing a book is one of those things that you want to accomplish, it is laying out those day-by-day steps that get you from, you know, a blank page to a finished book in that 60 days. So super exciting. I got a lot on my plate. So, you know, there's always the side projects too. I want to keep this YouTube channel going. I've got some small short stories I want to do. I am always fostering kittens, it seems like. So eventually I want to get back to going to shows and events. So those are kind of all my like smaller side projects, but those are my big ones that I want to accomplish this year. And I feel like just putting that out there and telling people about it is one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable to hitting all of those goals. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.